Well, good morning. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the re-grand opening of the library. Uh, we've been closed for quite a while, and it surely wasn't our desire to be closed. But there's all kinds of issues, as you know, with the supply chain. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome the Delsey Army JROTC, who will be presenting the colors for us this morning.
Color guard, attention. Carry, on. Forward, march. Mark time, march. Color guard, halt. Left, base. Reset, arm. Order, arm. Left, base. Forward, march.
Thank you, Delsey Army JROTC. Wonderful job. Thank you. As you go through the library today, you'll see the many changes that we have recently made. And many of those changes came about from a survey that the board and the library staff initiated several years ago of the patrons that visited the library. We took those ideas and their input, and then the staff developed a grant, again with the help of ex-Mayor Pat Doherty, who happens to be here today. And the Township Library was issued and awarded a grant to help pay for the majority of the work that was done here today. Before I turn it over to our Chief Librarian, Deborah Reicher, I want to acknowledge some of the county and other dignitaries that have come through today. Deborah will be doing some also, so if I do in fact not mention it, as Deborah's going to. I want to acknowledge Jim Hogan, our county clerk, who's a longtime resident and a friend of the library. We thank you for coming out today. We also have Commissioner Nick DeSilvio, who is a Franklin Township resident and serves now on the county commissioner board. And we're glad that he could fit us into the schedule again today. We had invited also Senator Durr. He had something else on his calendar, but he was gracious enough to send his chief of staff, Tina DeSilvio, to represent him today. And lastly, Congressman Jeff Andrew was supposed to be here this morning. We got a call about 45 minutes ago. He couldn't make it. But he sends his thoughts, and he can't wait to come by and see the library. He's been here previously, and he can't wait to come by and see all the changes. One thing, again, as you go through the library, you're going to see a lot, hopefully you'll see a lot of changes. Unfortunately, you'll see things that look like they may be missing. That's because they are. Again, the supply chain, we have one item that they told us we don't even think about getting it until 2023. So there's a couple of odds and ends, but again, I cannot compliment the staff and our librarian, Deborah, for the fantastic job that they did working not only on their own. Keep in mind, every book had to come out, every book had to go back in. So they did a Herculean job in getting all that done. So thank you. Lastly and sadly, I'm sorry to say that today is Deborah's last day. Deborah was supposed to retire on August, I believe, 17th. And she was gracious and kind enough to stay through the project. So the project is done today, and Deborah is retiring today. I'm happy for her in that respect, but again, she's going to be missed. I do want to mention, though, that the library personnel staff has done a remarkable job and have recruited a new librarian that has years of experience also, and we'll have big shoes to fill in Deborah's, but I'm sure she'll do a wonderful job as well. So with that, I'd like to introduce Deborah Reichert, our librarian of the Franklin Township Library.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning and welcome, Mayor Bruno, Township Committee members, Library Board members, friends of the library group members, and distinguished guests. 20 years ago this month, many of us were here to celebrate the grand opening of our beautiful library and community center. Exactly 6 months ago today, we started the renovation of this library after receiving a $600,000 matching grant through the New Jersey Library Construction Bond Act in December of 2020. Indeed, I believe we were the only library in Gloucester County to receive funds from the grant, from the act. It is wonderful to see so many of you here today to help us celebrate our grand reopening. Before we cut the ribbon, though, and officially open the library, several of our guests would like to share their thoughts with us. Please welcome County Commissioner Nicholas DeSilvio.
How's everybody doing today? Well, on a personal note, I'd like to say that this is an awesome event. I'm so glad that the library is being recognized. My sister used to work here, so that's what everybody knows me for. They don't know me as a county commissioner. They're like, you're Carmela's brother, right? I'm like, yeah, that's me. But I'll take that. I'm here to honor Deborah Reichert for her years of service. And I'm going to read the proclamation that the County Board of Commissioners have signed. So I'll be speaking on behalf of the whole board and with permission from the director, Frank DeMarco. And it reads this: whereas the Gloucester County Board of Commissioners would like to honor and recognize Deborah Reichert for 17 years of exemplary service as a librarian, which began at the Franklin Township Library in 2002. And whereas after 6 years with the Franklin Township Library, she took a position at the Washington Township Library to gain additional experience. And whereas in 2012, Deborah returned to the Franklin Township Library as Assistant Library Director, and in 2015, she assumed the Director's role. Under Deborah's leadership, the library has added many new programs and successfully obtained $700,000 grants to remodel the library, to make it more ADA complaint and better serve the community. So, on behalf of the commissioners and Director Frank DeMarco, I do hereby honor and recognize Deborah Reether upon her retirement from the Franklin Township Library with special appreciation for her outstanding service and dedication to the residents of Franklin Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner DeSilvio. And now I'd like to welcome our special guest, State Librarian Jennifer Nelson.
Thank you and good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. On behalf of the state of New Jersey, the Library Construction Bond Act program has funded or will be funding about 70 different libraries across the state. And I'm just delighted. Every time I go to one, I'm a little more delighted. And if you read about libraries today, people talk about libraries as community hubs. And I was thinking about that on the way down and realized that a hub is just not a word to explain the goodness that happens within a library and the kind of goodness that somebody like Deborah brings to the role in terms of connecting with the community, making resources available, and giving kids a place to come after school. The new teen space here is fabulous. I was just texting a friend of mine in another state the picture of the toadstools in the children's room. Like, oh, this is awesome. So I am honored to be here, and I'm delighted. I'm sad that Deborah's retiring. I won't have a chance to work with her anymore, but I'm delighted for the community here and look forward to the good things that are going to happen in the new space. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Before we officially open the library, I would just like to take a minute to thank several individuals whose help was instrumental during this entire process. First, my thanks to Mayor Bruno and members of the Township Committee for your support of and assistance with the project, especially with the replacement of sections of the fencing around the children's garden. To the library's Board of Trustees who volunteered countless hours in committee meetings or assembled furniture or mowed the lawn in the children's garden. Thank you for your dedication to the library. To our wonderful friends of the library group, which formed in 2017 and have since raised over $15,000 through used book sales, afternoon teas, and other fundraisers. I can't fully express my admiration and, to be honest, absolute awe of your organizational skills. To the members of the Country Garden Club who have voluntarily maintained our children's garden since its inception, thank you for your dedication, especially Barbara Doherty and Carolyn Talbot. And finally, to our community for waiting so patiently for this renovation to be completed. We hope that you enjoy the many changes that have been made and will continue to visit us often. Thank you. So we're just going to cut the ribbon now, and then we're officially open.
Where are you going?
I'm supposed to be in here. Yeah, me too. Right. I've had since May. It's just, and I had reservations. I had plans to go mid-September, and I just kept saying, it's not better yet. It's not better yet. And I knew I would have to be walking.
Yeah, done.
Oh, no.
Can't much time.
Oh,
Been there a while.
okay.
But you did that right. So we're just waiting to be sure that.
Yeah, you don't want to fly with that.
Yeah, no,
No.
she said he's good, that he's already able to have a stream.
So you're going to put it off to spring?
Spring.
Yeah.
The way I'm looking at the weather, if you
Oh,
don't go there.
well, unless you like rain. Yeah, but yeah, I'll be here.